Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neal Howard. Many of us are coming out of the holidays. Lots and lots of news about nutrition, what to eat, what not to eat, how to feel about eating. And some of the information says just eat whatever you want. Our guest in studio today is Dr. Deanna Minich. She's an internationally recognized lifestyle medicine expert, creative visionary, and teacher. Author of 5 books, her extensive background in nutrition, yoga, and personal growth have led her to create a whole self, colorful approach to health called Food and Spirit. She's developed this certified food and spirit practitioner program to provide health professionals with a practical way to apply the food and spirit framework with their patients and their clients. How are you doing this afternoon, Deanna?
Doing great. Thanks, Neal. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. Your new book, Whole Detox, a 21-day personalized program to break through barriers in every area of your life. This is your 5th work, is it not?
It is, yeah. I have 4 other, I call them children, these other books that I've written, and I've always written on something with food, nutrition, and lifestyle.
Well, sometimes we learn from our kids, but in this particular instance, your kids are teaching everybody how to eat better and how basically to get some of the gunk out of our systems that we've been eating on a daily basis, yeah?
That's right. I think it's really important. You know, my journey started very young. I was 9 years old, and my mother started eating differently, and our whole family was eating very healthily. And that really wasn't common in the 1970s when I grew up. So healthy eating is just a part of who I am and how I was raised. And when I saw so many people getting sick in whether it was my extended family where they weren't eating very healthy or just friends and other people that I knew, I saw food as part of the conduit to healing.
You know, you mentioned that it wasn't common back in the 70s for people to eat healthy. It's not that common now, although we hear a lot more about it, you know, with the advent of the internet and you know, news at a drop of a thought. What is it about the culture that prevents us from eating well when we know what we should eat and it's around us everywhere?
You know, that is the million-dollar question, actually. I wonder that myself. I look at my parents just as a case study. My mom is incredibly healthy still eats well. My dad, I call him kind of the junk food dad because he knows what he needs to do, but he doesn't necessarily do it. So when I look at even my parents as a microcosm of the larger macrocosm of society, the difference I can see is that many times people are stressed. You know, I look at all the working moms out there who are juggling family responsibilities, their own personal health, working, and any other number of things. So healthy eating is just one more thing that they have to think about. So it's a lot to really take in and change one's life. And for other people, I think we all know what we need to do. I mean, I think that there are some basics about eating vegetables and fruits. And I think, for some people, they just like the taste of other foods that perhaps aren't natural, healthy, whole foods. So I think a lot of other things stand in the way, and I think that there are many reasons as to why people don't adopt a healthy way of eating.
Deanna, let's talk about your full spectrum approach to whole self health. Is this something that is covered in your book, or is this something that is simply a philosophy of yours throughout your practice?
Both. It's definitely covered in Whole Detox, which is very colorful and embraces this full spectrum approach. And what I mean by full spectrum when I say that is that it's everything. It's not just what you eat, it's how you think, what you believe, what you do, how you act, what you say. It's everything. It's full spectrum. And I really truly believe, me being a scientist, that we contain all these different colors and these different systems of who we are, and it's just a matter of tapping in and turning up the intensity of those colors to make them brighter so that we come off as more vivid and vital in our everyday lives.
How much does the way that you prepare these foods, once you've got these healthy foods, in your house, how much of the preparation is key to actually turning your healthy eating habits into a way of life?
Neal, that's an excellent question. I think it is key. Oftentimes we think about the food, but if it's prepared in a certain way, it can either enhance the effects or reduce the effects. So I'll give an example of that. We can take something like purple potatoes, right? Purple Peruvian potatoes. And they are low in glycemic index. They're not like a big starchy white potato. And they are also full of phytonutrients, a lot of the blue-purple phytonutrients that people don't get in their diets commonly. But if we take those potatoes and we cut them up and we fry them in oil, especially recycled vegetable oil that is of low quality, and we get them kind of brown and crisp, what they actually turn into is an inflammatory product in our bodies. So they're not so healthy anymore. They're actually going to create inflammation.
So you've reversed the effectiveness of the food.
You take it away, absolutely. However, there are certain cases where a little bit of cooking and steaming can enhance the availability of certain nutrients, like broccoli. Rather than having broccoli raw, when you steam broccoli to where it gets that very vivid color green, and you know that color I'm talking about, right? Yeah, I mean, actually, you potentiate the detoxification enzymes and the different things that are in broccoli that help with detox. Just that little bit of steaming, about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
You're going to be in Sydney, Australia as a keynote speaker at the 4th Bioceuticals Research Symposium this coming April. Talk a bit about your involvement with this symposium. Is this the first time that you've gone, or is this a regular gig for you?
This is my first time, not to Australia. I've been there twice already, but this time, yes, speaking with my co-presenters at the Bioceutical Symposium, I'm really excited. There are going to be hundreds of different practitioners there, and I get to talk about something that I love, which is food.
And I understand that you also are going to be sort of myth-busting when it comes to nutritional detox. Tell us a couple of myths that are floating around that need to be, done away with.
Yeah. Well, the big one is that detoxes are dangerous. People say, that's so unhealthy. What do you mean detox? That sounds scary. Isn't that what people do with drugs and alcohol? And I say, well, detox has taken on a new meaning in the 21st century. Detox is now looking at how do we shed all of those chemicals and contaminants that we've taken in from our environment and even produced within our bodies. And we need help to do that. We're not eating foods that are 100% healthy all the time, and we don't have perfect bodies, even if we're young and agile. Typically, we have different genetic variability that doesn't make us well equipped in order to get these toxins out. So I think it's just the opposite. I think that detox has been around since the beginning of time. If you look at the use of saunas and sweat lodges and clays and baths, and even in ancient Indian medicine, panchakarma, the use of foods to induce sweating in order to get toxins out. So, we're just carrying on from that.
Do you address, this full spectrum, talking about, what you think, what you believe? Do you provide, a method to get back to healthy eating once you've started healthy eating? Been doing it for a couple, 3 years, but something happens. I don't know, maybe stress, maybe a job change, maybe a location change, and you begin to kind of fall off the wagon, as it were. Do you address in your book, Whole Detox, a way to get back on the wagon?
Absolutely. I think many detoxes focus on what to take out, and that can be very challenging for people with busy schedules. If you always have to think about what you have to avoid. So within the Whole Detox program, I focus on what you put in. And for many people, that's a much more positive message. They like that. And because I focus so much on color, that's an easy message for everybody to get, whether it's for children or elders or busy working people, is just to get the rainbow variety of different foods.
Right. And where can our listeners get a copy of your latest book, Whole Detox?
They can pre-order a copy of the book, and they can get lots of different bonus gifts for doing that. And they can get it at whole, WHOLE, -detox.com. And you'll see the tab for the book there. So you can go there and pre-order. There are any number of sites, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, IndieBound. There are so many different places to get it. So when you go to the website, you'll get an excerpt of the book, so you can see a little teaser. And don't forget to do the Spectrum quiz, which is also on whole-detox.com, where you can find out which of your 7 systems is meeting balance.
Great. You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neal Howard. We've been in studio talking with Dr. Deanna Minich, functional nutritionist, author, artist, yoga practitioner, and internationally recognized lifestyle medicine expert. We've been here talking about her brand new book, Whole Detox, a 21-day personalized program to break through barriers in every area of your life, and also talking about the full spectrum approach to whole self health. It's been great having you here with us today, Deanna.
Oh, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Transcripts and audio of this program are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm, and you can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.